Thank you, Jocelyn. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, this is going to be my first speech with you, so bear with me. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Rocio Cromley. I'm a new member at NIST Toastmasters. I am very happy to be here today. Thanks for having me and for guiding me to the sessions to improve my public speaking skills. I will speak today about the highlights of my life overseas as a military spouse and how this experience helped me to open my eyes to the world, embrace change, easily adapt in different countries like South Korea and Germany. I would like to share with you how my life overseas impacted me in 3 areas of my personal life. First, it helped me to nourish my philanthropic spirit. Second, it helped me to build a great network of friends and contacts. And third, it helped me to gain a great understanding of cultural differences. So first of all, how my life overseas helped me to nourish my philanthropic spirit. As a military spouse, and being part of a military community helped me to adapt to change and taught me the importance of volunteer work. It was definitely a milestone, if you want to call it that way, in my volunteer path or career. When I moved to South Korea with my husband in 2007, I didn't know anything about the life in the army. I didn't know anything about the country. And my first step was just to jump into the volunteer opportunities that the Army community provide to all the spouses. In that case, my decision was to embrace and learn from that adventure. For example, in South Korea, I was part of the welcome committee for new families in country. I sponsor families to get access to local resources like tours, language classes, and to get immersed into the culture. While living in Germany with my husband, this was between 2016 and 2019, I had the opportunity to get involved in the Army Community Service programs to support families. And not only I was a leader of many cultural events, but also I encouraged families and friends to be part of military community activities. These experiences were the main bread, to call it that way, that nourished my philanthropic spirit. I'm still a very active volunteer in my community with other non-for-profit organizations and with my son's school as well. The second highlight of my life overseas is definitely the amazing network of friends and other type of connections that I have built through my years of living in different countries. For example, in Korea, I established connections with friends of my friends who helped me to get immersed in the culture and explore food and learn about Asian traditions. In Germany, my connections were established through the military community, through my job, and through my son's local school, where we met a lot of German families. We build new friendships who help us to develop a great understanding about the local values. Definitely, to me, traveling locally or internationally can bring you many opportunities to build a network and connections of all types. To me, the most amazing thing is definitely all the friendships that I have made along the road. Finally, my highlight of my life overseas definitely has been the opportunity to gain knowledge and understanding of cultural differences. Before moving to South Korea, I was not completely aware of how Western values would be so different from Eastern values. For example, most of the Asian countries, including South Korea, they are driven by communalistic spirit. For them, the community is very important versus the individual spirit that drive Western societies. On the other hand, Asian cultures base their relationships on hierarchy hierarchical values versus equality values that communities that we have here in communities in the Western countries. Ethics, for example, in Asian countries are based on honor and shame. If you do something wrong, it can bring shame to the family. Versus in Western countries, we follow the law. If we break the law, the act is considered to be wrong. Again, thanks for letting me share with you these three main highlights of my life overseas and how each of them have helped me to open my eyes to the world, embrace change and adapt, and of course, to be resilient. Thank you so much again.
Yes, well, thank you, Rocio, for delivering your icebreaker speech. Congratulations. You did an excellent job, and I cannot overstate that enough. You um, had a very well organized speech. I think it was excellent how well organized it was. That's usually one of the challenges in delivering or beginning your speech crafting and delivering process. But yours was, as I mentioned, just crafted very, very well. You started out by introducing yourself. This is your icebreaker speech, so it's always great to introduce yourself to the club. And then you also introduced the topic. You talked about your background as a military spouse and how that allows you to explore the world beyond maybe what you would have imagined you'd have the opportunity to, specifically calling out your experiences in South Korea and Germany, but then using those experiences to really shape and you threaded those throughout the entirety of the speech. You talked about both country experiences and each one of the 3 points that you mentioned. So I just think it was very, very well done. I want to talk about your 3 points or the three areas which you were impacted, including your philanthropic spirit, building your friends and contacts and networking, and then also building a better understanding of cultural differences. I really do think that it was a well-rounded speech. For each one of the three focus areas, you talked about your experience in South Korea and your experience in Germany, and then what you learned from those experiences. And it really reminded me of some of the projects that we've heard in the past that talks about some of the nuances that differ from culture, especially when looking at Western compared to Eastern cultures. And I think you did a really great job of explaining that to us. And it was just great to hear the impact that it had on you from your volunteer work, from just traveling and being able to build your networking group, and then from understanding those cultural differences. I thought it was just a great perspective. So it really introduced us to the background of you. I had no idea that you were such a globetrotter, traveling all around the world and getting to experience these different cultures. And I think South Korea and Germany seem to be really almost two very different cultures, and you gave us the opportunity to learn how those cultures impacted you, what your takeaways are, and how it shaped you here today. One of the things that we have to do through the evaluation process is also give opportunities for improvement. So if there's an area I think that you could potentially improve upon in the future, I think it'd be in the conclusion area. I thought your everything was great. The introduction was great. The body of the speech was great. The way you went through each of the three examples was great. And I know you were probably thinking about time and wrapping everything up, but at the end of the speech, if you would have spent a little bit more time just talking about how all of those three different points you discussed, how they all sort of tied together to shape who you are today, what your experiences have been, and what maybe your goals are to get out of the club, I think that would have just been a great way to wrap it up. But all in all, you did an excellent job. I'm looking forward to hearing many, many more speeches from you and learning more just about your diverse experiences, your life, your family, or whatever else you'd like to share with us. So thank you again. Congratulations. And you should be expecting an ice scraper in the near future for getting your icebreaker finished. So if you're in the DC area, or even if you're in Colorado, you're probably going to need it sometime in the winter. Probably not now though in the summer, but you'll need it in the winter. So congratulations again. You did a great job. Encourage you to do many more speeches.